Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us at Tipsy Testing, Inflectra's weekly virtual happy hour. This is our 17th Tipsy Testing, and we're chatting about the future of software testing, careers in testing, and life in general. So let's meet our guests. José Díaz is a chief strategic thinker at Trendig Technology Services GmbH. Jose has particularly dedicated himself to advising companies on their journey to digitization and innovation management with the aid of design thinking. In 2009, he launched Agile Testing Days, which have now become globally recognized as one of the leading industry meetups in the area with over 700 international participants. So we have several questions. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Agile Testing Days is full of surprises. What special events do you have planned for the hybrid conference this year?
Well, I cannot tell you all the things. The thing is that we, with this hybrid situation, we are going to have few people locally. So, and the thing is how we can be safe and have fun. And we have worked out a few things. So we are going to have many things outside. On the other side, we need to see that the people who are outside, that they can get the feeling. And I think that we have good ideas how to get that. And like I said, but the big change that we're going to have is that we're going to be bigger. We're going to be bigger.
I can't speak to Agile Testing Days. I know that one thing we've been struggling with for our conference, because we have InflectraCon coming up in about two months, and Teresa's got a lot of videos for it. And it is hard to recreate that interactive feeling you get somewhere physical. And we're doing it only online. So right now, what we're thinking, one of the things we're looking at potentially using, which is not perfect, but is a tool called Discord. So we looked at things like Slack and some of the other tools, and they're so corporate. But Discord has a kind of a fun vibe. So we're going to probably use a Discord and some other tools to try and give it some interactivity and allow people to just chat with each other. And you're right, the personality is the key thing. How do you give? Because anyone can have a series of slides, and anyone can have people come to a real event and speak. But it's the character of the place, of the ethos that you infuse with it, and that's irreplaceable.
I always said to the people, you can go to a very good conference and the talks are going to be wonderful. But if the food is bad, when the people go back to the office, they will not tell you this talk was amazing. They will say, the conference was okay, but the food was so terrible.
It is.
Yeah, and that's why you have to. I mean, it's about the whole experience, and many people don't understand that. They just want to run a conference and to get the cash and go. And this is, I think, the time is gone, and you see this old-fashioned conference are dying slowly.
That's a good segue, Jose, because we had another question about how Agile Testing Days got started, and like where do you see that growing as we go into the future of the next 5 years or so?
Well, the idea was, I mean, we are running conference for 22 years, okay, and we have many different concepts of conferences. And then we saw that there were some conference on Agile, but there were no one on Agile testing, and so I said, okay, I want to run that, and then we started quite slowly with 3 days only, and we invited for the first one, I think the right person at the moment, and then we saw from the first moment that the people are different. That if you compare this to other conferences, you see that the people with this agile mindset, they are different, and in a positive way. And we understand what they wanted, and step by step we went in the right direction. And if you, I mean, you don't know the Agile Testing Days, but you cannot compare the Agile Testing Days, for example, 3 years ago with the Agile Testing Days for this year or next year, because what we have done from the beginning was to ask the people what they are expecting, what they want, what was not good, and we hear them what they are saying, and we try to improve. And then the other thing is that we work internally also in an agile manner, and we try things out, and if we do things wrong, then we learn from that and change that and make it better.
Okay, we have another question here. This is a multi-prong here. It says, well, what does it mean to be an Agile tester? What is the role of the tester in the Agile team, and how a tester can bring value to that team? Jose, you want to start us off on that one?
Yes, I mean, the important thing is that you, as a tester, you are a team member, and your role is to help the team on testing. So you are the one who maybe has the more knowledge on testing, and as we know, everybody in team should be on testing too, and you can give them advice, as they can give you also advice on programming, because at the end of the day, everybody in the team should be working in the things that you could do, so to help the team to move ahead. So, and your specialty is testing, so help them to move ahead. And I think this is the important thing.
Oh, interesting. Agile test. Well, because I mean, as Jose said earlier on the call, I mean, Agile without testing is like cheese without wine. And yet, so many people who do Agile are like, well, there's no testers anymore. We're just a team of developers. We're going to automate the testing and do the testing. And unfortunately, unfortunately, if you read the Agile manifesto, it does say test-driven development, test before you release, test before you design. It's the opposite. But unfortunately, when people got into Agile, somehow the idea of QA and testing and making sure the quality was there got thrown out of the window in the drive for speed. So I think that's the thing. Quality isn't, to me, quality is about being the soul of the customer, the soul of the user. Good testers, they get into the head or the soul. I don't know. They sort of get into the head and the soul of the person using the tool. A really good tester, and because the tester, that user is not in the room, so they have to be in the room for that person. They're like the witness. So that when the developers or the designers or the managers want to ship something that they know is not going to be any good, the job of the tester is to be in the body and the spirit of the user who's going to have to suffer this poor piece of software. And if they don't do a good job, they will have to suffer for it. So I think, in my mind, they're the conscience, the soul, the body, the spirit of the users who will have to use the tool. And that's the really important reason why testing is so important in Agile.
You and Adam both share a commitment to creating a fun workplace that's supportive and family friendly. In today's remote working environment, do you have any suggestions for keeping the feeling of community amongst your employees?
Well, I think that, like I said, for everybody or every company will be different. You as or me as the owner, I have to be open for all kind of things. And I think that if you're open for all kind of things and offer people what they need, then you will success in that way.
Before the pandemic, as a company, we've always been very pro-family friendly. It's one of our core values. It's called second chances. It's called family flexibility. A couple of things I think we found helpful in the pandemic was flexibility also in terms of where you work. So originally everyone worked from home, and that was all we could do. But then we opened up the office again. We made it like, well, if you want to work in the office, because some people didn't have a good place to work at home, and they and their husbands and wives were fighting. So they come in. So I know one person comes in 5 days a week. Someone else, as I said, they fight with their cats once a week, so they come in once a week. And everyone has the option of being able to work from home or in the office. It's not like you have to be one thing or the other. So I think having that flexibility to let people choose what works for them has really helped remove some of the stress. So people aren't stressed about coming in when it might not be safe for them. They know it's going to be potentially till December now. It's going to be a long time, especially in America. It's going to be, I mean, potentially till December that we'll be in this situation, if not in parts of next year. So you have to be in it for the long haul. So we looked at it and said, it's going to be 12 months. How can we all work together for 12 months and allow everything to work for different people?
Yeah.
I do have two very specific things I think are really good techniques though. One is, if you're going to have a meeting to catch up, make it what we call a drop-in meeting. That way, the problem I found with Zoom and GoToMeeting and all these tools, I used to come around to Teresa's desk and have a 5-minute conversation. The problem is everything becomes 30 minutes. So everything becomes a 30-minute meeting. So have a drop-in meeting, which is only come to the meeting if you have something to talk about, but it's not required. And the other thing I really think is a great feature is, as a leader in the company, I often work in the evenings because that's when it's more convenient for me. I don't want people working in the evenings just because I'm working in the evening. So I don't send emails. I'll use what's called schedule send. So if you're a manager and it's 9 o'clock at night, because you have to send an email and you know you want to send it because you'll forget in the morning, if you're using Gmail, schedule send tomorrow morning. And that's what I do now a lot. So that when people see all the emails coming in at 8, 9 in the morning, it may be composed some ungodly hour. but they don't feel that I'm working long hours, so that then it reduces the pressure, whether explicit or not, to work late hours.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, José Díaz of Trendig, Adam Sandman of Inflectra Corporation. Next week we're off, but on August 6th, our guest at Tipsy Testing is the one and only Michael Bolton, so make sure to tune in for that. But until then, have a pleasant weekend, everyone, and it was a pleasure talking to you.